GC didn't make it on the. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream, pre-stream. That's right. You're here just a little bit early because you are the few, the dedicated, you had nothing better to do than to tune in, but we're glad you're here. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to get started in a minute or so. So stick around. Just a reminder, you YouTube viewers, you will be getting half of the show today over on YouTube. But on the second half of the show, feel free to jump over to one of our alternative platforms so you can catch the rest of the show. Remember, Twitch, DLive, Rumble, Odyssey, all over the place, baby. Go to canarycry.party. To check that out. And for those of you who are signing up to, who have signed up to the text message alert system, hope you're liking it. I'm having fun sending out texts to you guys. And I hope you find it helpful. We'll find out. We'll see how many people actually show up to the show who got the text. And if you out there would like to receive text notifications for the show going live, we have experienced some soft censorship of the notifications not being sent out by the big tech platforms, and people are missing the show. So we have instigated a direct text message alert system, and if you'd like to sign up for that, just text Canary to a phone number, which will be, which I don't have memorized. What is it? It's 877. Here we go. 877-740-3226. 877-740-3226. Text Canary to that number. You'll see it on the screen here once the show starts. All right, everybody, stay hydrated, buckle your seatbelts. Let's go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is February 21st, 2022. We are live to tape on episode 449, and today, Morning Leaf. Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And this is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And we're here, we're back. We'll catch up with all the weekend fun in a little bit, but we're just going to jump right in to...
What's that lead story, baby?
The truckers, man.
Woo!
This is Rubber Ducky. What's your 1020, over?
Check in.
We got us a convoy, over.
This is... Fox News, Canada Freedom Convoy, nearly 100 vehicles towed amid Ottawa police crackdown.
Yeah.
Authorities have arrested nearly 200 people and threatened financial sanctions and criminal charges for protesters. Got a couple videos from Fox, and this first one, about a minute and a half, it starts off with a kind of like a personal interest story, which is, it's good on Fox, to really highlight the individuals that are getting discriminated. They start off with they're actually interviewing another guy here named Joe Warmington from Canada. He's a reporter. But before that, they play this clip of I think her name is Tammy Giuliani. She was harassed for donating to the truckers convoy. I think $25.
She's the shop owner?
Yeah, that got the sign put on. Yeah. So they talk about that. Well, they clip her and then they go into the conversation here. But okay, just to set it up.
We have been called terrorist for the first 36 hours. We were inundated with hatred, with threats of violence. People threatened our team on the phone, telling them we're coming to get you. Our rural shop out in Merrickville, Ontario, someone draped a large bed sheet over our sign. I'm sorry. It's been a tough few days, and I think, and the sign read, "Tammy supports terrorists."
Joe, you're like our friendly neighbor to the north, and what you hear from that woman, right, is how her own people have turned on her, and this has been a stunning development for many people there in Canada.
Well, Canada is a police state at this time, and that's what it's like inside of a police state. There is no rule of law. It's now in the hands of what they call the Emergency Act, which is the War Measures Act. So, people like her that were doxxed and all the different things that we've seen, just for donating $25 to the truckers' convoy, puts you as an enemy of the state. And it sounds like Cuba or China. That's kind of what's happening in Canada. I'm sure Americans are waking up to what's going on here, and thanks to Fox, and because it's not covered the same way in Canada, but that's what's happening.
It's pretty crazy to hear. I mean, I know it's Fox News and they're catering more to the right at this point in time, but it is interesting to hear a reporter from Canada just straight up say it's a police state, and it's one of those things that many of us, not just us, Basil, but so many people on the fringes, independent media, all these people saw it coming. It's really quite a shame that it took all this for it to be a discussion in the mainstream. But here we are.
Yeah, well, we're in an interesting time where, first of all, the conspiracy theorists have been right all along, and people are realizing that. But it's all out in the open. I can only speak for the U.S. in my own experience, but we've been a police state for a long time. It's just people have been in the dark about it, and it hasn't been like at the top of mind and things like that. But yeah, you're right. That to have it, so openly discussed on mainstream corporate media, whether it's Fox or whoever, it doesn't matter. It's not like Fox is necessarily some sort of,
bastion of truth.
Yeah, right.
No,
they're a part of the machine as well. Yeah. And so even to have it over there is quite the experience. Again, it's that experience for those of us who have been paying attention for everything we've already known to suddenly be a topic of public discussion. Yeah. And I don't know if you brought this or not, but there was an article that had a quote from Justin Trudeau.
Oh, I have it,
yeah, the one where he's like, "Oh, it's great, we did it, but we're not gonna stop."
We'll play that in a second here, but
great.
Something to mention about this too is I'm starting to think, and this is not like anything new or anything unique to me, but part of the awakening process was because the information has always been public. That's the thing that people need to realize. It hasn't been hidden for a long time. For decades, they've written about like, here's what we want to do, here's how we want to control everybody, blah, blah, blah. Just people didn't believe it. The masses didn't believe it. But now that the awareness is out there, it's almost like they can actually go out and do it now. They're like, well, they know about it now, and they don't seem to be doing much about it. So let's just keep inching forward and see where they push back.
That's the conundrum, isn't it?
That's
the conundrum. Just because it's out in the open doesn't mean that it's, doesn't mean that it's going to slow down.
Right.
Because, that's part of the power of the mainstream mind control is they can tell you the truth right to your face, but then they can control how you feel about it. And that's kind of the problem. You can know that you live in a police state, but if you're being told that, oh, it's just for your safety or it's for the common good or, the worst part, and we saw this with Obama too, with the NDAA 2011 thing that we mentioned in the past couple episodes, when he was asked about that by a reporter, was like, how can you do this? Seems like a big overstep and a breach of human rights and things like that. And Obama's answer was, oh, we've been doing it forever. We just now put it on paper.
Right.
And that kind of stops the discussion. And also, the implication is like, hey, you've been living like this for a while. Why are you complaining now? Yeah. You must be being manipulated by American, influence.
White nationalists.
Right.
Influencer thinking. Yeah. Whatever it is. Yeah.
And so that is the other side of the coin is they come out and they say, oh, well, yeah, you've always been a police state. And then people are kind of like, oh, well, I guess that's fine then, because been fine.
Yeah. Here's a little bit more from Joe Warmington.
It's a civil war is what it is. They will finish this job, whatever it takes. I was just talking to a trucker who described an incident, and I haven't seen this on video yet, but he said where guns were drawn. When I hear that, I realize that at any stake, look, the Prime Minister's made it clear, these people don't matter. They're unacceptable. And of course they do matter. They matter to everybody, and they have freedom, and they haven't done anything wrong other than parking their trucks there, honking the horn. So yeah, they will do whatever they have to do. This is it's very, very scary. I'll tell you, Bill, what it reminds of, and I think it warns of, is the kind of scene that you may see one day when somebody in politics or in leadership decides that, people need to get their full vaccines to be fully vaccinated, whether it's no vaccines or 2 or 3. It's really about the vaccine for these people, and this is how far they'll go, to go and enforce it. They do not want to lose this, and it really is frightening. I think the other thing that's important, Bill, is that they suspended the debate in Parliament on the Emergency Act that allows all this to happen. This is not rule of law. This is martial law, in essence. And so we don't have, the media is not supposed to be there. They don't have a debate on it. And they're also arresting at gunpoint and in a very strong way, innocent protesters, if you will. So it's a pretty alarming time. And, I know there's different points of view, but that's how I see it.
Martial law, police state. I thought these were all crazy conspiracy theories, but apparently it just is in Canada now. And yeah, this brings us to Trudeau. Here's a clip. I got this from like a secondhand thing, so the audio isn't great. But here's Trudeau talking about the Emergencies Act.
As I said, the Emergencies Act.
He starts with a really heavy sigh too, by the way.
Yes,
I feel like he's.
We need to know that he's so tired. He's been working so hard.
As I said, the Emergencies Act is not something to undertake lightly, and it's something that needs to be momentary, temporary, and proportional. That's why every single day I'm receiving briefings, and we are reflecting on how much longer the Emergencies Act needs to be in place. We don't want to keep it in place a single day longer than...
Oops. Sorry, hold on.
But a day longer than necessary. But even though the blockades are lifted across border openings right now, even though things seem to be resolving very well in Ottawa, this state of emergency is not over. There continues to be real concerns about the coming days, but we will continue to evaluate every single day whether or not it is time and we are able to lift this state of emergency.
Screw your freedom.
Yeah. Notice how he doesn't give any actual reason.
Nope.
So he said we don't want to keep it going any longer than it has to.
Which it doesn't have to at this point. The blockades are gone.
Well,
correct?
that's the point. He says the blockades are gone. That's all fixed. We're all good. But we have reasons to keep it going.
Why?
Because reasons.
Why? What reasons, Trudeau?
Reasons, Gons. What do you need? More than reasons?
Because Klaus said so? Like what?
Yeah, because Daddy Klausy is giving him gold stars and cookies on the back end.
Wasn't the whole Emergencies Act triggered because of the blockades? Wasn't that specifically the reason why he triggered that whole thing? So now that those are gone and they're replaced by police barricades, by the way, now. Right. Yeah, you got control, Trudeau. Like, what's the deal?
Exactly. I mean, you're asking the right questions. We understand that. We get that. But that's the funny thing. Just like I said about the mainstream, the politicians can do the same thing, which is tell you the state of the situation and tell you how to feel about it. And what he's saying is, yes, we have completed the prerequisites to end the Emergencies Act, or whatever they call it. But you should still be afraid. And because you're afraid, because we told you to be, we're going to keep the Emergencies Act going for a little while. Why? Well, because, we're just going to see what happens over the next few days. And it's the same thing that happens with in the U.S.,
curve.
This happens every few years for the U.S. This is how our sort of rights have been chipped away over the years. which is you take an emergency, you use the emergency to gain more power, and you just never give it up.
Never give it up. That's been the game plan, or the not the game plan, but the playbook. That's what I'm looking for. The playbook for decades. This is how they've done it.
And he's sort of stretching it to see just how, how long, how everything he can keep that power, especially because, previously the provinces had lifted all mandates and things like that. But this Emergencies Act, it's a total win for the feds because now the mandates are under control of the feds, where before, without the Emergencies Act, the provinces have to get to decide themselves, which really irked Justin.
Right. You're not listening to me.
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole point of having.
And so he is just delighted that these not the convoy itself necessarily, but the blockades, the border blockades, gave him a reason to do this, gave him a reason to take over power from the provinces. And I really hate to say it, but if this Emergency Act ever ends, I will be very surprised. I think this is something that will stay in force in some form for a long time. He might say we're officially lifting the Emergencies Act right now, but, we have voted through Parliament to retain some targeted and effective powers for the feds so we can keep Canadians safe.
Yeah, a lot of people are comparing this to the Enabling Act by the Reich, the Third Reich of Germany.
Oh, gosh, there we go.
I know.
We're on YouTube right now. We can't talk about that.
You're right.
There is a lot of people are calling this the War Measures Act, and saying
that's
that Justin
what it was called.
Saying that Justin renamed it. He didn't rename it. The Wars Act was from the early 1900s and was revamped and renamed in the 80s. I want to say.
Yeah,
I think it's the 60s or the 80s. I think it was somewhere in the 80s they redid it and renamed it. But it is the War Powers Act. That's what it is.
Well, let's see what CNN says about it.
A shill for sure.
Nothing to do with actual Chris Shilzilla, but hey, maybe he's there. He's
a stand-in.
He's there in the office or at home zooming in or something. I don't know. CNN.
or he wishes he was there.
Yeah. Well, that's what being there in the Metaverse is. He's in the CNN Metaverse office, but he's actually at home.
You're right. Through the Metaverse, Chris Shilzilla will actually be allowed in the office.
Even with COVID, he can be in the office. Fact check debunking more false Fox claims about the Canadian convoy protest by Daniel Dale. Fox News has been repeatedly inaccurate in its coverage of the Canadian Freedom Convoy protests against vaccine mandates, COVID-19 restrictions, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. As the protests in the capital city of Ottawa has been dispersed by the authorities, Ottawa police tweeted Sunday afternoon that 191 people had been arrested and 79 vehicles towed. Fox inaccuracies have continued. Here's a look at 3 false claims by 2 Fox hosts and a Fox contributor since Wednesday. So, number 1, a false claim of a protester being killed. Sarah A. Carter, a Fox contributor with about 1.3 million Twitter followers, tweeted a dramatic allegation on Friday after a chaotic incident involving police officers on horseback riding near a crowd of protesters on an Ottawa street. Photo and videos showed a female protester lying injured on the ground. And there's actual footage. You can see the horse run over her.
Wait, Fox said that she got killed?
Sarah A. Carter, yes. So I actually think this is part of disinfo campaigning here. This is because whoever Sarah A. Carter got this information for, she tweeted it out and a bunch of people picked it up. A bunch of conservatives picked it up. So whatever her source is, I would go back and be like, what was that? Because she says...
Sarah A. Carter is a Fox person.
Yes, she's a Fox contributor. And, Diamond and Silk picked up on it and everything else. And Carter retracted later on. She said, the reports I was given earlier yesterday from sources on the ground that someone may have died at a hospital during the trampling was wrong. She added a claim that someone else at the protest had been taken to the hospital with an issue not caused by trampling. And she concluded, quote, I wanted to clarify this again and apologize for any confusion. And then all the other people, the Ted Cruzes and whatnot, deleted the tweet. So Okay.
So they corrected it.
They corrected it. So
she put out she retracted the statement, corrected it, and so did everybody else.
So nobody needs to debunk it, CNN.
Like a news platform should, which CNN never does.
Or if they do, it's buried on last line of some article somewhere that
right
nobody sees it. The next one, a false claim about the protests.
So funny.
I know.
This fact check is literally like hailing the journalistic integrity of Fox News while trying to debunk them. They say, oh yeah, but they did the right thing and retracted and fixed it and blah 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 blah. Yeah. But there's still misinformation.
Yeah. The other two aren't really that exciting, and they're really, I don't even know if it's worth it. I'll just read I'll read the heading here. A false claim about the protests in Ottawa. It's so vague because literally it's from Geraldo Rivera making claims. A false claim about where Canada's parliament stands. Janine Pirro, blah blah blah. Yeah, boring. It's real. Yeah. This is literally for the headline. They're like, well, we got to say something to push back against the Fox narrative. Everybody's watching Fox on the reports. The fun thing is CNN has always been sort of mortal enemies with Fox, and the new owners of CNN also started Fox. Right. So it'll be interesting to see. And this is how it goes just in business. Yeah. You create your own competition so you can control your own competition, and it's a win-win. This is how the Rothschilds took over England. They funded both sides of the war. That's exactly what's happening here. It's been really fun for me personally, and I believe many of our listeners, to watch the destruction of CNN over the past few months, year, maybe even. They're now, owned by a different company. People are getting the Reaper's scythe is waving over different people's careers over there. And yet, do not be mistaken. This is the function of the propaganda machine that is the corporate legacy news media. And just because CNN and Fox will be owned by the same people now, well, not owned, they don't still own Fox News, but they were started by the same people. Integral in starting it. This is just an example. This is not necessarily a good thing. This is, both sides of the political, not even political, I don't know, some sort of political temperament in the news are basically controlled by the same people, which we knew. But again, now it is transparent, out in the open, and not some conspiracy theory. It's literally on paper and being reported about on their own news. So there you go. That's fun. The beast grows even larger. Yep. Just another deconstruction on a Monday.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Monday.
Well, you know what that means, Gons? It's time for a little skate update.
Howdy, partner.
Do you even skate?
Do you even skate? Well, I did yesterday again. 6 weekends in a row, baby. That's right. I'm a certified skater boy, and I'm here to just give everybody an update on this this new phenomenon. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. It's called skating. So I'm back at the skate rink. I got there late last night, so I actually didn't get to go for a while. Here's a fun little tip for anybody who's interested. 1 hour of moderate skating in a skate rink burns like 750 calories. So there you go. If you're looking for a new activity, if you're maybe on a cut like me, just go into the skate rink for 1 hour and, just trying to skate. You'll burn like 700 calories. That's crazy. Yeah. So there's a little tip. Today, it is crazy, Gons. I thought when I first started going 6 weeks ago, I thought that it was more crowded than I could ever imagine a skate rink in 2022 being. Mm-hmm. Very crowded. I don't know how many people were there, maybe 100. Okay. Ever since that first weekend, it has continued to grow. The crowd is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And at this point, if you get there late, like I did last night, you are parking literally down the street, like a block or two away. Parking lot fully packed, parked up and down, people double parked, people parking in the dirt lot, super packed. I get there late. I have never seen this many human beings in one skate rink at a time. Now, here's the thing. Don't worry, I'm connecting it. For those who've been following my journey into the world of roller skating, last Monday I announced that I am becoming the monster that I never thought I would. I'm being accepted into the alpha skate boy sort of culture. I've got the speed. I've got the control now to weave in and out and not run into people. And okay, that's enough. When there's like 300 people out on the skate rink at a time, it is a safety issue to be able to do this.
Don't they have limits on how many people can be out on the ice at once?
Apparently not,
Okay.
Gons. Apparently it is an unregulated situation, or nobody's calling the fire marshal or something. But here's why I bring it up. In the past, people take falls. You see it all the time. People take even big falls.
I know where this is going.
I don't know if you do.
I do.
I didn't fall. Don't worry.
Okay.
I was safe. But people take big falls. You know, in the past 5 weeks before last night, maybe once, maybe twice, but I think just once in 5 weeks has somebody taken a big enough fall that an ambulance had to come.
Oh, wow.
Last night, in the 1 hour when I was at the skate rink, there was 2 different ambulance crashes or people crashing to the degree that an ambulance was called. It was like a bloodbath in there. And unfortunately, they were both skate daddies. I don't know what happened.
Aww.
Yes, the skate daddies took a couple of big falls. Blood on the rink, baby. Don't think that skate time is just for dressing up in neon clothes and goofing around. It is very serious. So two skate daddies were taken away in ambulances, and there was one other one that was a big crash, but he did not get taken away. Maybe he should have, but I don't know. Maybe they had reached their quota for the day. They're like,
no more ambulances.
Just load them in the back of the pickup, man. We can't call another ambulance tonight. But I survived. I was safe. Thank you for your prayers, everybody. And that's your update on the Church of Skating.
Hospitalizations being overwhelmed by skaters replacing all the COVID victims.
Yeah. You're gonna wear a mask and get vaxxed, or else you'll crash while you're skating.
I thought you were going to say there was like a domino effect because there's so many people.
No, surprisingly not. Although I don't know. You know, it's interesting. Just back to the sociological part of it for you, Gons. When these big crashes happen, the regulars, the sort of veterans, even the young ones, you know, the core group, the core social group at the skate rink, they all stop and like take off their skates and like direct traffic and protect the fallen soldier. And
that's good.
It's just sort of like an organic thing.
Yeah,
you know?
well,
there's a camaraderie,
some unwritten
there.
rules and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
It's kind of nice.
Good. Okay, well, my weekend not very eventful, but I do have something to do here, which is to call upon the producers. Which my button's not working for some reason. Come on, producer button. There we go.
Producers, assemble!
And I got a message from one of our producers, Warrior Chick Jan, and she wanted to ask the prayer warriors to step in. Her mother is 83-year-old Diane, has been just fell. What happened here? Okay, so she passed out in the car while driving with Warrior Chick Jan's dad. Woke up, actually had a defibrillator go off again this morning. They don't think she had a heart attack or stroke, but they're keeping her overnight with observations in the hospital today. So just prayers out to Diane for her health.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go. Producers all around the world. If you're wondering who the producers are, well, it could be you. All it takes is answering the call when the producer calls goes out. So, yes, we'll certainly activate everybody out there. Put it in your prayer journal, put it on the list, or just say a little prayer right now for, what was the name, Diane?
Diane, yeah.
Diane. Okay, we're praying for you, Diane.
All right.
All right, and last but not least, Gons. Oh, did you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Last but not least, we are on the value for value model, folks, which means we are entirely funded and produced by our producers. And those producers are listeners just like you who receive value from the show, recognize that they don't want advertising corporations deciding the value of their independent media. And so they put some value back in, which makes them producers. And today we have an executive producer for today's show, Gons. And that executive producer's name is Oogly Boogly.
Oogly Boogly.
Yeah, Oogly Boogly was the name that came in.
Boogly. Okay.
So thank you very much, executive producer Oogly Boogly.
Where'd you find this?
That's right, and we got a note and some more info from Oogly Boogly, but there you go. We like to give our shout outs to our executive and associate executive producers at the top of the show. So everybody, you can thank Oogly Boogly in the chat for making the show possible.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? We finished the segment?
Yeah. You know who else we couldn't do this show without?
Oh, I'm guessing
Flippy!
it's a robot.
It's a robot.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. It's time for the Flippy update. If you're new to the show, Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses, and maybe someday becoming our best friends. We talk about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, we've got a story coming from Business Insider being mirrored by Yahoo.com. And the headline is robot dogs that could patrol the U.S.-Mexico border would not, quote, take over due to their 4-hour operating capacity. CEO says.
What do you mean they won't take over? What?
They won't take over. I know, it's so funny because we'll get into it.
Yeah.
But it's, that old thing when it's like, if you're in a position where you have to say that you're not a racist, it's already too late.
Right.
It's like with these CEOs of these robotics companies. Like, if you have to make an official statement that your robot is not going to take over, it's too late.
It's too late. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to skip the bullet points and go straight into the article, I think.
Yep.
Here we go. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS. I love how it's DHS too, because it's like they just put out the threat bulletin for people
terrorist
who have
threat.
Yes, disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation is terrorism.
Right.
So you can just black bag people. Well, those guys have released images of robot dogs, which they are testing with the possible aim of having them patrol the U.S.-Mexico border. Wow.
I wonder if Trump loves this.
In this context, it's kind of spooky because, there's that joke about Trump's wall.
Yeah. Biden's got dogs, robot dogs.
Yeah, that's another funny part. Well, which we'll get into in a second.
Yeah.
But the joke, the sort of liberal joke was like, Trump doesn't want to build a wall to keep other people out. It's because he wants us to stay in. He wants to keep us in prison, man. We're in the prison planet. Which is, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But also, now we have killbots patrolling the border to keep us from going for, asylum in Mexico or something. Officials have not said when the robot dogs, known as automated ground surveillance vehicles, might be deployed.
That means they're deployed already.
Yeah. CNN reported the news on Saturday. The CNN report followed an article published earlier this month on the DHS Science and Technology Directorate's website. The article said the machines could, quote, potentially be a new best friend for CBP personnel in the field. What is CBP? Is that Border Patrol?
Yeah.
Must be.
California Border Patrol.
Brenda Long, S&T Directorate Program Manager, said in the article, quote, "The southern border can be an inhospitable place for man and beast. And that is exactly why a machine may excel there." What are you, a wizard? What are you talking about? For man and beast.
We are living in the days of Noah.
Send the homunculi. Our golems, our techno golems shall protect our borders. The CEO of Ghost Robotics, which developed the machines, told CNN that while the company is focusing on, quote, doing the right thing for national security, there's nothing to be afraid of. Listen to that sentence again. While this guy told CNN that while the company is focusing on doing the right thing for national security, there's nothing to be afraid of. The implication there is whatever doing the right thing means is scary.
Yeah. Well, and plus, what else are they doing that has them focusing on doing the right thing? It means they're doing the wrong thing for national security, even in that context. But they're having to sort of move in a direction where, we're going to move into more right thing to do direction, which is like, okay, that's a weird thing to say. It presupposes doing the wrong thing.
It's a great piece of sort of rhetorical propaganda, too, because doing the right thing. What does that harken to? It harkens to sort of equity and social justice. And, the Democrats have tried to kind of make that their brand, even though even Democrats at this point don't believe it.
Yeah.
So, they're trying to come at it with this like, yes, we've created killbots to protect our borders from whatever, but we're doing it in like a woke way. We're doing the right thing, so don't be afraid. Jairin Parikh added that, quote, "There's no way they're going to be taking over anything because they will only have 4-hour operating capacity. They also need to be remotely controlled by a human." What in the world are you referring to?
Hey,
I want to know what the question was asked.
Yeah, well, yeah. That is interesting. No question posed here. But also, anybody who knows what our military are capable of with drone technology just makes this sort of excuse very obsolete.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because the sort of, again, the implicit question is like, are these robots going to take over the world? And then Jaren comes in and is like, there's no way they're going to be taking over anything. Like, okay, what?
Why the extremes in... Anyway, all right, keep going. There's a couple more things here.
Yeah, and they make a point about it being controlled by a human, which we've seen over and over and over again. We've been doing these Flippy updates for years. And it always starts with they're controlled by a human. But, these robots are equipped with autonomous features. And, for the PR, you tell them, we'll have an operator, but, we're not going to let them autonomously prowl the desert looking for people trying to enter a family with milk jugs filled with water and then, have the robot solve the problem, if you will.
Sure.
But then it also has that thing of like, a human will be making the decisions.
Right.
Which honestly is not that much better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why, like with the drones, it's the same kind of deal.
Right.
It's like
all these drone strikes killing Afghani families. Those are humans too.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, read on here. There's a couple different.
I'm on
things.
it. CNN reported that the new technology hasn't been welcomed by an umbrella group called the Southern Border Communities Coalition. Vicky Gaubeka, the director of the group, told CNN, quote, "This really felt like a slap in the face. There are other technologies that they're already using that we feel like they could cut back on, and yet they're adding on another type of surveillance technology. That's frightening, to be honest." Ghost Robotics did not immediately respond to insiders' request for comment made outside of normal working hours. What? What is there any softer way to say that? Because usually when you say, they didn't immediately respond to our questions, the implication is like, they're avoiding us. They're avoiding us. But to say, oh yeah, they didn't answer our questions, but we sent it after 5, and they have families, so we understand. It's like a very special sort of I don't know.
It's an excuse.
Yeah, what is the word?
Misdirection. Yeah, go on.
Parikh told CNN that robot dogs on the U.S. border aren't part of a military effort.
Oh, what is it?
Quote, it's just another sensor carrier. It's really for sensing around the environment. It's not really interacting with people, he said.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
It's just surveilling you. Don't worry. It's not a military effort. Like what?
Again, that's how it starts, man. That's just how it starts. Oh, well, remember the drones that they are deploying?
Yeah.
I think this is in Texas. They have these little autonomous drone stations.
Right.
That there's a little tower, and that little tower, if it detects movement, it launches a drone to go, look at what is moving. And then they uncovered the sales video for this drone that was used to sell it to the government. Mm-hmm. And in the sales video, it shows this drone, this surveillance drone, like shooting tasers and like killing people in the desert as like a sales pitch. So
I want to see that. That sounds entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen it? I thought we played it on the show.
Oh, maybe. I mean,
it was a while ago. You might not just remember.
Yeah.
Robot dogs have faced backlash previously. Another technology company, Boston Dynamics, had its $94,000 contract with NYPD canceled over concerns about its robot dogs' role in policing. In that case, some observers linked their use to police funding cuts and the increased militarization of police in general. Yeah, well, you're not wrong. And it doesn't help that there's countless videos online of, some of these robot dogs that have been equipped with machine guns and rifles and things like that. And they, when they talk about surveillance technology, did they use the actual word? Let me see if they used the word.
They didn't, but the border people did.
Platform. So platform is so they called it sensor carrier.
Right.
So instead of the usual term platform, they use carrier. And that's the thing with these dogs is they are just platforms. They're a carrier. They're just an object that can be equipped with things. And so this statement that it's just another sensor carrier is maybe true for now, but it does not change the fact that tomorrow they could be equipped with something else, armed killbots on the U.S. border. And we think we're better than China sometimes. We literally just reported that China has killbots on the border of Tibet. So there you go. It's not just for the Chinese. We're catching up, folks. Woo!
USA.
We're number 2 in this case. Well, it doesn't
matter. We'll still be partying. CanaryCry.party is where you can go for that. Party time. Find the live stream, email list, street team posters, other Canarians, and all the ways to produce the show and join the Canary Cry family.
Welcome to Canary Cry Party. It's the place you want to be. So stay. Welcome to Canary Cry. Gameplay, CanaryCry.party.
That's right. CanaryCry.party. Especially you YouTubers over there, you're going to want to head over to CanaryCry.party to find another platform to catch the second half of the show, because that will not be airing on YouTube. And just quick plug, go check out my other podcast called Ravel, where we explore scripture and society and scandal. We just had an episode drop yesterday where we are talking about artists, and things like that. We spend a lot of time talking to like scholars and academics and theologians and lawyers and all those types. But we're going to be doing a mini series talking to artists, not just about art, but everything. So going to be really cool. Also, thanks for those who tuned in to listen to the Jay Baker episode. A lot of mixed reviews. Some people don't like the tension of people arguing about theology. But if you like that, we have a podcast episode with Jay Baker, the son of Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. Interesting fella, cool guy, heretic. Good times. Good times. All right. Let's keep going. Okay, time to check in on
Russia.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Russia. Russia, 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 Russia.
Where in the world is
Kamala?
Where is she, Gons? Where is she?
Kamala. Business Insider mirrored on MSN.com. Headline: Vice President Kamala Harris acknowledged the real possibility of war in Europe. They're really molding her. You know, it's a part of
read that again. What does it say?
Vice President.
She just this is an article called "Vice President Kamala Harris acknowledged the real possibility of war."
Yeah,
in
she
Europe.
gets to peddle
Kamala.
war.
She didn't do anything.
No, she gets to peddle war.
Yeah.
It says here, Vice President Kamala Harris on Sunday acknowledged that the world was facing, quote, the real possibility of war in Europe, while stating the United States could, quote, incur some cost if Russia decides to invade Ukraine. At the annual Munich Security Conference in Germany, Harris sought to convey to U.S. allies that the deteriorating situation at the Ukraine-Russia border signaled that European security is being threatened, while adding that sanctions should be imposed for the Kremlin if it overruns its neighbor. Quote, we're talking about the potential for war in Europe. I mean, let's really take a moment to understand the significance of what we're talking about, she told reporters in Munich.
Okay.
She continued, quote, It's been over 70 years, and through those 70 years, ... there has been peace and security. We are talking about the real possibility of war in Europe. President Joe Biden on Sunday planned to huddle with his national security team to review the situation, while with Harris set to join the group upon her return from Germany. Before leaving the conference, the vice president spoke with Biden's team about her meeting and conversations while at the event, according to the Associated Press. So there you go. There's a little bit more in terms of Russia. There's stuff breaking right before we went live today with Biden. There was a headline that said Biden and Putin, there's some understanding or something like that. But in the other angle, just because we're on Kamala here, and no agenda covered it, but there's the theory out there that they're going to blame a lot of the inflation stuff happening right now to the Ukraine crisis, and then once they're able to bring things under control a little bit, they will sort of crown Kamala as being the champion for restoring or helping fix the economy and the post-COVID issues and whatnot.
To be clear, there's quite a few good analyses on this.
Sure.
There was, one
the New York Post did one. I think.
Right. One straightforward plan that's sort of being talked about is, keep Kamala behind the scenes for as long as possible because she messes up literally everything she does. Then, exacerbate the Ukraine crisis, which Biden has been doing, bring it to some sort of fevered pitch, and then send Kamala to Munich, which is where they are holding some, United Nations talks or whatever, NATO get-togethers where they're going to, have some cheese and crackers and discuss the situation. Send Kamala in there to defuse the bomb, and then boom. Now she has something on her resume where she could, they could justify her running again in 2024 as vice president, or, give her something to brag about if she does become the presidential nominee in 24. Because, she didn't do great in her first year, but nobody will remember that. They'll just remember how she solved the, World War III crisis of 2022 and single-handedly talked Putin away from the trigger. And because of that, the economy rebounded and everything's great and gas is $2 a gallon. Woo! Thanks, Kamala. Which is not the worst plan, but execution is a big factor in this.
Well, especially Yeah, I mean, just straight up in the geopolitical sense, but, you know, you need, in the context of geopolitics, you would need the cooperation of Putin to sign off on something like that, which there's no reason for him to do any of that anyway. I mean, a lot of the accusations...
It would take some backroom. It would take some backroom deals.
Yeah.
Like if she does do this, you have to guarantee that we've made some backroom deal that's good for Russia.
Yeah. Anyway, you have an Atlantic article here. You love the Atlantic, so
I love checking in with the Atlantic for sure. For those who don't know, well, the Atlantic is barely a news organization, but owned by Steve Jobs, Lauren Powell Jobs. Steve Jobs' widow. So it's always interesting to check in. Nothing from Bessie recently. Bess Levin. This is from Tom McTague. Something? Yeah, McTague. Anyways, it's titled, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's humongous, but I'll get a little bit into it and just, I think it's a good temperature reading for where liberal politics is at right now. The headline is Putin has made America great again. Yay.
Thanks, Putin.
Putin has made America great again. Just a brilliant headline because you get to take a stab at Trump and also talk about current events, but also, you know, what does this have to do with Biden? It's a whole thing. Donald Trump. I love it. The Atlantic, more than anybody, is just obsessed with tying everything to Donald Trump, and they just can't help it. Donald Trump is literally the first two words of the article, and they do their
giant D.
Yeah, they do their typeface where it's like the gigantic first letter of a paragraph, and it's just a
classic
giant
news.
D. Donald Trump,
all caps,
was supposed to have changed the world, robbing America not just of its luster, but of its allies' trust. Okay, a weird sentence, by the way. Donald Trump was supposed to have changed the world, robbing America not just of its luster, but of its allies' trust. Here was a president of such gauche ignorance and hostility, it seemed impossible that American power would ever be seen in the same light again. For Europe in particular, Trump's jingoistic belligerence was poised to be an adrenaline shot to the heart, Pulp Fiction style, jolting the continent out of its American dependency.
This looks like someone just watched too much Pulp Fiction.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty cool article. Continues here. And yet, here we are, facing the first serious threat of invasion in Europe since the Balkan Wars of the 1990s. And it's as if nothing has changed. The story of the Ukraine crisis so far has been about many things. Blackmail, realpolitik, appeasement, even, apparently, Western provocation, regardless of the facts. Interesting, huh? They're sort of acknowledging the sort of Biden's belligerence in the situation. But here in Europe, the one thing it very much has not been about is American decline. In fact, from here, the story of this latest crisis is of the reestablishment of America the good, America the bold, America the supreme, and by extension, Europe as the weak. In my recent conversations with diplomats, government officials, politicians, and analysts, both in Europe and in the U.S., most of whom spoke on the condition of anonymity in order to discuss the situation candidly. And also, I didn't really do it, and I don't want to have to have any journalistic integrity.
I just made it up.
And just making this all up.
My ayahuasca trip, I got some sources.
I was struck by this counterintuitive conclusion. While America itself continues to struggle with its own sense of decline, its dominions in Europe are choosing to suspend their disbelief in the imperium all over again. And this is a fun theme throughout the whole article, referring to America as an empire, as an imperium, and European nations as like protectorates of America, like feudal states ruled by the Empire of America. After years of It is really strange. We don't have time to do the whole thing, but I highly recommend everybody read it. It's a very interesting article. After years of grumbling about American power, it took only the whiff of a threat from Moscow for Europe to recommit to the old order, thrusting the battered old fasces of imperial authority back into the hands of the emperor in Washington.
Wow, this is like truly
crazy, right? Really interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially after all of the guff that Trump got. They called him King Trump because he's a fascist and he just acts like a king. He's not a president.
It's like they set the royal stage, and now they're like, well, I guess we are ruled by this king, this throne anyway, regardless of who's on it.
According to The Atlantic, it's Emperor Biden.
Yeah.
This wasn't the story I thought I would be telling about this crisis when I began making calls. I thought the narrative would be the declinist one. In 1960s, the United States made up about 40% of the global GDP. President Joe Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, boasts that America and its allies combined account for a little more than that portion of global output. Such a change must have geopolitical consequences. This was merely masked for a while by the end of the Cold War. Let me just check something really quick, see what we have. Okay, yeah, I'm going to keep this short. Of course, it's possible to fit the crisis over Ukraine into this much wider narrative of American decline. The pressure being exerted by Vladimir Putin, after all, is part of a longer story in which the U.S. is forced to spend more of its resources dealing with the rising power of China and therefore cannot afford to permanently defend Europe as well. This is a shakedown that cannot be avoided. Also reasonable is the claim that Putin might not have felt so emboldened to attempt this type of military blackmail before. Don't know what they're referring to there. Armed with his alliance with China, he can afford to test the strength of the West, not just now, but for years to come, hoping to create cracks that he can then exploit. Yet, what is most striking about Putin's crisis is not how it has revealed America's withdrawal from Europe, but just how American Europe remains. And it continues for a long, long time to talk about how, you might think that America's in decline. Oh, but this Ukraine crisis is letting us show our strength, and Europe wants to, Europe loves us and wants us to be there and wants to bend the knee to America. We're still a superpower and we rule. And it's this weird 180 turn where before recently, I would say literally right before this Ukraine crisis, the liberal ideal, was stop being world police. It's not America's job to, establish order in the world. Why are we getting involved in other countries? Blah, blah, blah. This has been going on for years as sort of the liberal idea. Now, of course, the funny part about that is on the other side, on the right side of the political spectrum, the liberals will criticize the right for being nationalistic or for being isolationist, saying that that's like some weird white supremacist ideology that America should keep to itself. And yet, it's a very sort of liberal idea that we shouldn't be the world police. So another one of these ways that separation is more of like a rhetorical control mechanism rather than an actual clash of ideology. But this was it was very telling in the way that this extremely liberal news outlet, quote unquote, with an extremely liberal cast of reporters and journalists are now cheerleading the idea that we're number one, USA is the best, we're so good at killing people and or threatening to kill people, that Europe loves us and trusts us, and we're the empire and they're our vassal states. and et cetera, et cetera, which is just a really enlightening moment to see how deeply the neoliberal ideology has taken root in places like the Atlantic.
Well, I see this as very much a team picking moment, a taking sides moment for the staging of a massive, and we've talked about this for years, a West versus East type of showdown, and with Europe being there, this makes sense, geopolitically, geographically. I've seen a lot of kind of not just memes, but people referring to this idea of, America, the big brother. Wasn't that one of the headlines here? Coming to help Europe, the little brother. He's running into some trouble, and we're here to save them, and that kind of thing. And it's almost like, it's interesting. The America has been doing New World Order stuff for a long time. And then when Trump took over, it was, America is bad, blah, blah, blah. And now that it's, the political balances in the United States has swung back around, it's almost like whoever has the helm is just like, it gets to be the driver, So boom, we're world power now. We're going to help the UK, or not the UK, but Europe. And, it's a subheading. Ukraine crisis has revealed that the U.S. can't shed its big brother image on the world stage.
Yeah.
So, I was just going to say that it's setting up for that massive West-East thing, and Europe is, unfortunately for the U.S., or for Europe, for people in Europe, at the benefit of the people in the U.S. in terms of geography, Europe will be the first people to really get a huge, a clash, I guess, physical clash because of any kind of expansion that a Putin China-Russia partnership may try to do.
If indeed geographical expansion is even the goal, which you could say definitely takes a second. It takes second fiddle.
Yeah, well, yes. Information and pipelines and all the infrastructure is probably way more above where people are looking at with this geopolitical tension. This is obviously for other reasons, because I don't think anything's really going to happen with this border crisis here. It's been ongoing for 8 years, something like that. So
you're talking about Ukraine?
Ukraine, yeah.
Yeah. It's been on and off.
It's on and off.
Years.
It's always, but notice how all the fear has moved away from COVID. Now it's the crisis here, but it's really this crazy New World Order moment where the United States and Europe are kind of uniting against communist Russia, China. Man, it's like this. It's like there's nothing new under the sun, man. It's just like, but the divide and conquer is just, the chunks are getting bigger, and you can see how for the New World Order, world domination to take place, they need maybe two distinct parties going at it on a New World Order global political infrastructure type of thing. And so this is all,
So when it comes to the actual reality of the situation, there's a lot going in there. With this article, though, I find it more impactful to consider the ideology being expressed. And this ideology is, okay, liberals, we get it. We were against war. We were against meddling in the affairs of other people. We were, keeping to ourselves. America being a military superpower was not necessarily something for us to take pride in. A president who, is trying to be the empire of the world is a bad thing. But now it's our guy, it's Biden. And, we kind of just said all those things just to get the bleeding hearts to vote for us. But in the end, we're just, the establishment, just like anybody else in power. So now we need to tell you that it's okay if we police the world, and that America is the best, and that we should be the empire, the ruling empire, and that we should do those. And then in the conclusion of this article, let me just read this, and then we can move on. In his inaugural address, Biden's message to the world was that America had been tested, but had come back stronger as a result. The country would, he said, quote, lead not merely by the example of our power, but by the power of our example.
Oh my gosh.
America, he was saying, was ready to resume its role as the leader of the free world, a, quote, trusted partner for peace, progress, and security. Rereading these lines today in light of the Ukraine crisis, you can conclude that he has partly made good on his promise, despite the debacle. So again, look, this is an image situation for Biden, who has not done a great job and has continuing to precipitate in his approval ratings, especially when you consider the fact he literally has not kept one campaign promise. Rereading these lines today in light of the Ukraine crisis, you can conclude that he has partly made good on his promise, despite the debacle in Afghanistan.
Let's forget about that.
Mm-hmm. He has shepherded the West into a unified position on Ukraine through careful and conciliatory diplomacy. Does that sound like what we've actually seen? Careful and conciliatory diplomacy? It sounds like almost literally the opposite of what we've seen him do.
What would be the opposite of a neocon in the Democrat sense? Is there a word for that?
Yeah, neoliberal.
Oh, okay. That doesn't sound as accusatory. Yeah. That's kind of what this is, right? I mean, it's pro-war, Democrat, liberal.
Yeah, I mean, more or less. Let me finish this out real quick, because there will be more to comment on. He has shepherded the West into a unified position on Ukraine through careful and conciliatory diplomacy. And part of this article is talking about how he's done a great job of getting all of Europe on his side, and everybody loves it when he's there and doing his thing and sending troops. When it's literally week after week, we have Ukraine saying, please don't help us. We don't need your help. You're making things worse. And the rest of Europe is like, whoa, America, you are really kind of setting things on fire over here. Please just slow down. And Biden's just like, send more drones.
Do you want to
get more boots on the ground?
There's stuff breaking on this right now. So I'm
all right, let me finish his last few sentences.
Finish your thought.
Yet Russia's challenge to the West today, as it amasses troops on Ukraine's border, is predicated on its belief that American power is retreating, and with it, the power of its example. Europe's response, however, has been to reveal how powerful America remains. So Europe is revealing how powerful we remain. The truth is that it's possible for both sentiments to be true at the same time. So you got to end it with a little bit of postmodernism there.
Right.
But yeah, very interesting sort of shift in the talking points for the liberal ideal as Emperor Biden continues to spread the American empire.
So breaking this morning, Ukraine, Putin recognizes independence of pro-Russian terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, I read that totally wrong. Putin recognizes independence of pro-Russian territories. Big difference there. Must be clear. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree on Monday recognizing the independence of a separatist Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic in eastern Ukraine's Donbas region. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The New York Times reports. During a speech, Putin also demanded the end of Ukraine's military operation in the separatist area, per AFP. The announcement came on Monday after Putin held a meeting of Russian national security officials. Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Commission, tweeted that the move is a blatant violation of international law. So, the UN, where is this?
I almost brought this story to the show. Yeah, it is something. And I'm interested to see how the response from Biden goes. But so, these separatist groups, they're maintains territories in Ukraine that are sort of pro-Russian separatist territories. They want to either be their own country where they can regulate their own relationship with Russia, or, maybe sort of join with Russia. It's been a big part of Russians' involvement in Ukraine is sort of supporting these little groups. And in fact, it was one of these groups in one of these territories that had the school shelled.
Right.
And that was the big sort of mix-up when it came to, calling that a Russian false flag, was because it was in a pro-Russian territory. And, they were claiming that Ukrainian forces had, been pulling some stunts in the pro-Russian territory. So it made no sense to call it a Russian. I don't know. It was a whole thing. But yes, that was one of those territories.
Right. And
then, this morning he's like, yeah, these territories are cool, man. They're their own thing and they're not Ukraine. So take that, Ukraine.
And obviously this is fluttering everybody else here. The High Representative of the EU for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy and Vice President of EU Commission, Joseph Borrell Fontelles, said the decree by President Putin ordering a so-called peacekeeping mission into the so-called Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republic is another outright aggression against Ukraine, a violation of its territorial integrity and sovereignty. The UN Security Council should convene ASAP.
Oh, so he did authorize peacekeeping in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there you go. That's kind of a de facto invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
Fun. Things are about to get even more exciting.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
But, again, it's back to the legal definitions of it.
I know. That's
because, of course, you've got Russian propaganda saying, hey, these are independent regions being oppressed by Ukraine. We're here just keeping the peace, letting these independent regions live their lives, when in fact, of course, he just wants them to be separate so he can gobble them up into Russian territory. But then, put that beside the other side of that, which is, Russia's long-term it's like a long-term invasion. Like he's been invading for like 20 years, and now it's the time when he gets sort of invited to put boots on the ground.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on everything going on there and report on things as they break. But also, I don't know. It's just kind of it's a slow rollout as usual with this kind of stuff.
We'll keep an eye on it. This is how it happens.
Keeps inching forward.
There's
slowly.
Other stuff that is not so slow moving.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Well, let's see.
This is kind of just a quick little update here.
Yeah. Hold on. I lost track of. I have other tabs open here. I don't know why. Okay, so this is The Guardian. And the headline, Jean-Luc Brunel, held on suspicion of supplying girls to Epstein, found hanged.
Oh.
Totally sounds legit. I don't know. The former boss of a French model agency accused of rape and under investigation on suspicion of supplying underage girls to the late American financier Jeffrey Epstein has been found dead in prison. The body of Jean-Luc Brunel, 75, was reportedly found hanging in his cell in the early hours of Saturday, the French prosecutor's office confirmed the report and said an inquiry had been opened into the exact cause of death, but early indications pointed to suicide. That's about it. There's really nothing else to say.
Well, there's a couple other details. Apparently, there was, not an investigation, like a death, not quite an autopsy, but what is it called? Where just the guy comes and takes a look and kind of says what he thought. The
not the coroner, but it would be a coroner, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't quite an autopsy, but it was some lesser version of that. Okay. Anyways, preliminary, sort of independent investigations have said that the broken bones and the wounds on the neck and stuff like that are more consistent with strangulation than hanging. So, it's literally... Now, this was a bad dude. This guy was an integral part of the Epstein network. He, some people are calling him, or like referring to him as like Epstein's pimp. Like, he was in the fashion industry, ran a modeling agency, so had access to a lot of girls and money, and was one of sort of the main sources for Epstein and his network.
Right.
And he's been in jail for a little while now in France. And no videotape, no nothing. Just hung himself allegedly, just like Epstein did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's 75, so they either took him out, or because he's useless at this point, or.
Well, if there was anybody else that could bring down the client list or cause problems for the Epstein's, little black book or whatever, this would be the next guy besides Ghislaine.
Yeah. I don't know, man. A lot of suspicion surrounding all this kind of stuff, but
yeah. Not too much else to say about it. Everybody's been playing it pretty close to the chest. Again, a lot of it is I don't think that we could say anything that anybody else is not already thinking. So there you go. There's the update. Let's check in with the Metaverse.
Welcome to the Metaverse.
This is a very interesting article by livemint.com.
Yeah, livemint.com. Do you have highlights on this?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. The headline here is Metaverse, technology that merges virtual physical worlds soon to become a reality, Meta says. It's like they've been watching or listening to Canary Cry News Talk. And
we just talked about this with McDonald's.
Yeah. And
with the food deliveries
just
in
in general, a theme that I touched on the Face Like the Sun channel for years was, hey, the virtual and physical world are going to merge. It's merging more and more. Mm-hmm. And so now it's just headline on Livemint. Technology that merges the virtual and physical worlds could start to become a reality for consumers in a few years. Facebook owner Meta Platforms Inc. has told advertising agencies.
Mm-hmm. This whole article is about advertising agencies. So as Gons goes through it, keep in mind the idea that we have been shouting about for years now, but that really you need to take seriously. Some people, they hear us rant about advertisers and they're like, oh, okay, you just say what you need to say so you can, get producers or whatever. I mean, I'm very serious when I say the advertising industry plays maybe the most integral role in creating our reality and deciding what reality actually is. And we'll learn more about that here.
It says here, MR, mixed reality technology, could allow a person wearing an MR headset to use a real-world object to trigger a virtual world reaction, like hitting a video game character with a real-world baseball bat, for instance. Okay. It is one of 3 types of extended reality technologies, and we know about all that. We know about augmented technology. The comments from Meta came, there's a Meta comment. Let's see. Some mixed reality headsets are available, but are not yet geared toward general consumers. So we have the Microsoft HoloLens 2, which was introduced in 2019, retails for $3,500 and is geared for workplace use. At its annual Connect conference in October, Meta announced Project Cambria. I hadn't heard of this before. Project Cambria, a headset that will feature mixed reality capabilities and include face and eye tracking. Yay! Mm-hmm. The headset
which is what we read the patent on a Flippy update for their electronic eyeball,
right?
Which was exactly for this purpose.
Yep. The headset is expected to be released this year. In the meantime, Meta continued to advise advertisers to experiment with augmented reality ads, such as photo and video filters that overlay digital images onto the real world, the ad agency executive said. The comments reiterated Meta's pitch to ad industry conferences. Meta said brands could partner with content creators on AR ads or use the technology for virtual clothing try-ons. The
Beast fashion.
That's what I was thinking about too. The Beast fashion thing is it's the Metaverse is going to be the place for Beast fashion. We have wasn't Gucci or something getting into the Metaverse?
Yeah, Gucci has a Metaverse store now.
So yeah, it's a big deal. The roundtable with agencies lacked detail on what ad formats could be built for the Metaverse, but what specific controls would be in place to prevent brands from appearing next to unsuitable content or actions, the agency executive said.
Yes, they don't want any advertising going on the Canary Cry
exactly.
live Metaverse podcast recording.
Yeah, that's their way of saying people like us, unsuitable content.
Right.
Advertisers are also looking for detail on how the effectiveness of ads in the metaverse will be measured, and will be asking, quote, "What did I get for my money?" the executive said. A Meta spokesperson declined to comment. So I like how Meta is like, it's advertisers, you better get ready. Why don't you start dabbling with the metaverse? And, the advertisers are like, okay, what do you mean? What do we do? And Meta's like, we don't know. Go ahead. Just start working with influencers. Do that. Go do that. Build it for us. We don't know what to do. We just have the name.
Yeah, and this is particularly salient because ever since Facebook became Meta and rolled out their Meta stuff, they've had some massive stock crashes. Because they haven't figured out the funding structure of the metaverse yet. Well, I guess they've figured it out, but nobody's got any faith in it. So,
plus it's not really up and running as much as they claim, right?
So this event is for, it's a fundraising event more or less. But yeah, this is the thing when it comes to reality, when it comes to in different forms. We talk about rhetoric, we talk about desire, we talk about all sorts of these things. These are the strongest force on sort of a scale, a population scale. The one of the most significant forces for defining reality are ad agencies, and that's why it's so sinister. That they are the ones with the money who decides who gets to live and who gets to die as far as media creation goes, which is why we're on the value for value model. But when it comes to the metaverse and this mixed reality thing, which is funny that they're leaning more on the mixed reality, because the metaverse is more like you're in your pod, you have your helmet on, you're flying around the cyberverse. Mixed reality is, you got your pair of glasses that overlay a virtual realm over the world as you're walking through. So it's kind of an intermediate step for advertisers.
Sounds like it literally sounds like what people who have experimented with DMT describe. Like you can kind of see a layer of a realm that's layering over the physical realm.
Yeah, well, DMT, you're totally in a different universe, but certainly psychedelics in general, that's been a highly reported aspect of it, that you're attuned with a realm that is overlapping our own.
Right.
And that's this mixed reality. In another sense, it's kind of like, my favorite comparison is They Live. With the glasses, in one sense, that's exactly what we're going to be looking at, which is you wear your glasses, you go out into the world, and you get your pretty digital advertiser-funded, upgraded reality experience where, the ads are popping up on trees, and you can get whatever data you want just by looking at something or whatever. But then you take the glasses off and you see, in this case,
lizard people
reality. Exactly. That's when the lizard people don't have to wear their skin suits as long as you're wearing your
as long as
glasses.
as long as we're in the metaverse, they can come crawling out of their pods.
So this is one step that needs to be taken. This is lizard people talking to lizard people, explaining just how they need to put all their money into metaverse advertising.
The economics.
Yeah, so they can make it a true reality, and that's what we'll be seeing coming up here.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
And with that, folks, it's time to take a short break, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, we are going to be checking in with our COVID vaccine segment, checking in on old Billy Gates, seeing what's going on over there in Israel, and of course, a little bit of China news as well. And just fair warning to you YouTube viewers, get ready to open up another tab, open up another window, because to catch the second half of the broadcast here, you're going to need to go onto one of the alternative platforms. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, value for value model, baby. Yeah, we're going to take some time and thank some producers. That's right, I said producers. We ain't got no advertisers here telling us what.
Oops, sorry. Oh no.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Take a break.
Okay, take two.
Sorry.
That pitch didn't start off good enough for Gons, so
No.
we're going at it again. Yes, you don't want advertisers deciding your reality, and that comes in many different forms. It also comes in the form of the advertising industry being the main funding mechanism for content creation, whether it's independent news media, whether it's YouTube or podcasts or wherever you're getting this. It's so easy nowadays to get advertisers for a show, especially one like this with the audience that we have. Oh man, this would be a gold mine for advertisers. But there's one big problem, folks, and that's in order for Gons and I to participate in that model, first we would have to start thinking of you, dear listener, as some sort of animal, some sort of commodity that we can package up and send off for our own personal game. And yeah, maybe not your physical form, but certainly your trust and your attention would need to be packaged up in some sort of sellable format, which doesn't feel right to us. But then, from your perspective, suddenly your favorite, corporate news media analysis and deconstruction program is taking money from corporations. And we all know what that means. When there's corporate money involved, there's corporate incentives involved. And that's just not the right thing for the show. The show would not be what it is if we had to rely on advertisers and sort of the mechanisms of the dark miasma of advertising industry benefiting from, the sort of subjugation of your minds and the manipulation, the soft manipulation of your psychology into having to spend money on things that you don't really need, and tricked into thinking that if you just spent a little bit more money on some doodad that your buddy Basil tells you to buy, then you'd finally find happiness and completeness. Nope, that's not for us, folks. Instead, we're on the value for value model. It's simple. We create value. We do it 3 times a week. And if you get any value out of what we do, you have the opportunity or the responsibility to put some value back in. Not because, it's just like a fun thing to do if you have extra money. Not because we ask for it and, you just want to participate once in a while. Nope. Even more than any of those things, it's a realization that if it weren't for the producers of this show, the show probably wouldn't exist. Not because we couldn't get advertisers, but because I don't think we could bring ourselves to do it at this point. Corporate incentives, corporate decision-making, and corporations putting value on the content that you appreciate is not a very cool way to do it. Instead, it's our producers that decide the value of this show, and that's why we thank them now, because they're taking responsibility for their own media future. And there's a couple of ways to do that. You can go over to patreon.com/CCNT if you want to sign up over there. Or you can head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
Over there, you'll find all sorts of fun ways to support the show. If you're a cryptocurrency person, you can support the show with your crypto. You can find all our public wallets there. If you want to commit to keeping the show going, nice set it and forget it option. You just want to see the show go on forever. You want to continue to receive value week by week after week after, oh my gosh, it's the rest of our lives, Gons. Then you can come in on a monthly producership. But if commitment's not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount. And Gons, who are we thanking today?
Well, we got an executive producer to thank. But before I do, just spend a second here. Basil, do you have your webcam balancing on a spinning top or something on your desk? It's been bouncing a lot today. It's not bouncing at this very
moment.
Not
on a spinning top. Okay. It is on my desk, but I do have my feet up inside. Does it bounce now? Does this do it?
Yep, it's bouncy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I will try not to bounce.
Okay. Executive producer for this episode, we mentioned it at the top of the show, Oogly Boogly. Woo! And he came in with Bitcoin, 0.0242 Bitcoin.
Is this a crypto? act like I know what a crypto is?
Where'd you find this?
Thank you very much, Oogly Boogly. We appreciate it, and you're really helping carry the show today. 0.0242 Bitcoin. Depending on when this got sent in, Oogly Boogly might be in line for some sort of knighthood soon.
Yeah, it might be close to the round table there. I mean, on a good Bitcoin day, that is a round table.
Yeah, exactly. So Oogly Boogly comes in with a note here, which I thought was pretty good. It says, I discovered the original Canary Cry radio podcast in October of 2021. The information I learned from the two of you and all your guests changed my life forever. All of you took the Bible, which I considered to be a mixture of fairy tales, feel-good life lessons, and changed it for me into spiritual truth, historical fact, and a solid worldview. I knelt before Christ in early November and asked him to please forgive me. I have gone on to listen to every episode of Canary Cry Radio, and I am up to episode 204 in News Talk.
Wow.
This is to show my deep gratitude and make up for months of mooching. Well, we better demooch them.
You've been
That's awesome.
Pleasure to demooch.
Yeah. What a great note. Thank you so much, Oogly Boogly. So first of all, so wonderful to hear the effect that our work has had on your life, and we're just delighted to hear that, and we'll be praying for you and thanking God for you for sure. And yes, to come in after, finding the show, appreciating the show, October 2021, that is not that long ago.
No, that's like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, this is very recent. My goodness. Maybe, my gosh. Okay, so he's really been charging through the catalog there.
Yeah.
150 something episodes of Canary Cry Radio, 204 episodes of News Talk. Man, that means he listened to about 150 episodes of our old News Talk format.
Ooh.
the half-hour version. I guess you can really cruise through those episodes.
You can get through them a little faster, I suppose.
But what a fun experience to start News Talk at the beginning and see the development of everything we've been following. We yell about it all the time, how we've been talking about this for years.
Yeah.
Or like tracking the trends of Flippy and Metaverse and all this type of stuff since the beginning of the show. And it sounds like Oogly Boogly has gotten a crash course in the whole arc of our madness in just a few months. And then, to come in, get the value, and then come in immediately and get demooched in such an extravagant way. We're very deeply grateful for Oogly Boogly. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
He ends out here.
I'm sorry.
May God bless you all, Oogly Boogly. And he did put a P.S. just to eliminate any confusion. I am a guy. Okay, good to know. Yes. Not going to lie. Had not considered it.
It didn't even cross my mind. But that's good. So before we do assume, thank you for the note, and thank you for the executive producership. And it really, I don't know for you, Basil, but for me, it's this kind of thing that confirms that what we're doing here and have been doing for so many years is there's some eternal consequence that that we can't wrap our heads around per se. Sure. But is taking place in the heavenly realm there. So
very cool. Thank you very much, executive producer Oogly Boogly.
Thank you, Oogly Boogly. All right, we got some more people to thank here. Oh no, we have a supply drop.
Woo!
supply drop.
CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Go check it out. Look, folks, we don't sell any merch. We don't do that kind of stuff. But for producers who commit to keeping the show going on a monthly basis, we have a very special thank you program that we're happy to talk about now. Once per quarter throughout the year, we'll be sending out supply drops to producers of the show who support for $33.33 or more a month. And we're coming up on the first one next month. And if you're interested, you should check it out. You can go to CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Apparel, accessories, I don't know, all sorts of cool stuff. Trying to think, my mind just got boggled by all this stuff. Survival gear. Whoa, ARG, all sorts of fun stuff that we're sending out on the first supply drop ever, going out next month. The cutoff date for signups is in 7 days. Dun dun dun. Okay, but we're going to thank some of these supply droppers right now, starting with new supply dropper Lucas M. Comes in with the 3s and the fees, and he sends a note, actually, I wanted to check out. He says, "Hi, I listened to CCR for a long time, then remember you starting CCNT and Basil's Joyspiracy podcast as 2 side projects. I can't remember why I may have stopped listening, but glad to know you guys are still going strong at least. Subscribed again and support again. Thank you. God bless. All the best." Thank you very much, Lucas M. Seems like he was a man overboard there for a little while, but he found his way back.
Yes, thank you very much, Lucas M. Sorry about that. Had the daughter come in, needed
No worries.
assistance with something.
Next up,
okay.
we have Maureen Believes, 33 plus fees.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
These are all
much,
supply
Maureen.
drop people, huh?
These are all, yes, supply droppers.
Got it.
And let me just check something real quick. I think Maureen had a note that I wanted to check. Yes, dear Basil and Gons, I'm now an official supply drop producer. Yay me! God bless you and all that you do to spread the good news of Jesus Christ, and also keeping us and the world informed about those sneaky lizard people. God bless. Maureen Believes. Thank you very much, Maureen.
Thank you, Maureen.
Next up, we have producer Michael R.
Thank you, Michael R.
That's right. Comes in with the 3s. Thank you very much to all of the supply drop producers. Everybody, go check it out. Only 7 days left to sign up for this first quarter, and you're not going to want to miss this one. Don't hold back because you want to see what's in there for the first one. There's all sorts of collectible stuff that'll never go out again. And yeah, it'll be really cool. We continue to inch closer to our 100 sign up goal by the end of the month. And we're trying to do that not just arbitrarily, but because we can start buying stuff in bulk, which means we can get cooler stuff for cheaper, which means not only do you get value from the show, you'll get value from the the supply drop, but also all the other producers will be, the whole supply drop will increase in value. So go check it out, canarycrysupply.com.
There you go. All right, we got some more people to thank. Starting off with producer Morv.
Producer Morv is on a streak.
Oh, he's on a streak, yep.
57 episodes in a row. He comes in with 11 and 11 plus fees, and that is not his note. He did not have a note.
Oh.
Somebody else's note got put under his thing. Thank you very much, Producer Morv.
Thank you, Producer Morv. Next up, excuse me, is Palmer B.
Palmer B is on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
26 episodes in a row. I've got such a frog in my throat. I'm trying to drink some water.
We both have a thing going on. I have the mute button here, so clearing my throat here.
There you go. 26 episodes from Palmer B. Thank you very much. She comes in with the 1001.
1001. Amen.
And a note, shalom, my dudes. Have a blessed week. Thank you very much, Palmer.
Thank you very much, Palmer B. Next up, we have JC.
JC's on a streak. 73 episodes in a row. Thank you, JC, coming in with the 1001.
1001. Amen.
And a note that says, Gary, what day is it?
Gary, what day is it? Monday. Monday.
Chill vibes.
Hope everyone is having a good start to the work week. Love you guys. Thanks, JC.
Thank you, JC. Next up, we have Heather Soros.
Yes, this time I spelt it Heather Soros.
Right, yes.
Yeah. On a streak.
Yes. Wait. Here we go.
61 episodes in a row, coming in with the 1001.
1001. Amen.
Happy Monday, all. Can I get 3 random jingles? Thanks and much love.
3 random jingles.
Get that cat out of here.
Yes, sir.
Ugly, horrible person. Hold on, I need 3, right? Okay, hold on.
That was
State
3.
and federal health officials
Put aside any ideological considerations. There will be breakthrough infection. Get double vaccination followed by a boost and a boost and a boost, and make sure you get another booster. The virus is going to find you. It's semantics.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's Learbag 3K jingle.
Wow. We haven't played that one recently, at least. Thank you very much, Heather Soros.
Okay, they have transformed into a new creature.
We'll see if it sticks.
Yeah. Next up, we have Sir Sigurd the Beast.
Sir Sigurd the Beast is on a streak.
Streak.
9 episodes in a row, which means Sir Sigurd the Beast is lit,
Where'd you
fam.
find this?
Hey, you lit now.
Hey.
1001.
1001. Amen.
He sent us a nice long explanation of the stock buyouts questions from last episode. Thank you for that, Sir Sigurd.
Thank you.
I hope my explanation of stock buyouts was helpful. It was.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Naomi Q.
Naomi Q comes in. Thank you very much, Naomi. Nice big round number there, and no notes. So just our gratitude.
Thank you very much. I don't recognize Naomi Q's name, so if it's your first time,
I think it's a first. I haven't seen Naomi Q. We would demooch, but we don't demooch anybody who doesn't want to be demooched.
Yeah, we're not rude like that.
Nah.
All right.
Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you, Naomi Q. Welcome. Next up, we have Gail M.
Gail M is on a streak, baby.
Yes, she is.
87 episodes in a row. Big old streak. Getting close there, Gail.
Mm-hmm.
And Gail did have a note, which I accidentally put under Morves.
Okay.
I got it here. It says, "Hi, my sweeties. I haven't received..." Nope, that's from a different time. Here it is. "Hola, chicos dolce. I know streak 88 is sometime soon, so just in case it's today, yippee to me, the streak sister. Yes, yippee to you, Gail, and you are so close. 1 episode away, but you did feel it correctly. The feeling of 88 is around here. So thank you very much, Gail. Oh, and by the way, yes, Gail's gratitude grab bag is still continuing. We're going to get a safer email address for her to, she has one here. So if you're one of the Valentine's card design winners, send an email to canarypeeps@yahoo.com. Canary, Peeps. Oh, there's some like multi-dimensional meaning to that. At yahoo.com. And as Gail continues to award people with the Gail's Gratitude Grab Bag, that will be the email that the winners will contact. So there you go. Okay, thank you very much, Gail.
Thank you, Gail. Next up, we have Joshua M.
Joshua M. You know what? I think Joshua was one of the guys who came in recently. Maybe he's not on a streak, but I think this is his second time producing here. Comes in with 7s and fees, and he has a note that says, "Hey, Basil and Gons, hope everything is well. Can I get a soundboard mix from Gons? Also, Basil, you encouraged me to try some skating over the weekend, so I went with a few buddies from my Bible study and did a skate and Bible study session. God bless." That is so fun. Awesome. Wow. I feel, I'm glad people listen to this show and sort of respect our opinion on things, but the fact that people are listening to me when I say skating, that's the new thing, folks. I know it's the old thing, but get out there and skate if you haven't skated. Thank you, Joshua. You got a couple jingles for him?
State and federal health officials.
Get that cat out of here.
You know what? Nobody likes you, Booster.
Okay. Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Next up, we have Ernesto Q.
Ernesto Q comes in for pocket full of sevens and fees, and has made that a recurring producership. Thank you very much, Ernesto.
Thank you, Ernesto. Appreciate that. Next, we have Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
And big day, Gons, because Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, has reached the 111th episode of his streak.
Tweakers.
Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much.
And we have a 111 jingle,
Yes, we
don't
do.
we? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you should have warned me about that before the show. I would have prepared myself a little better.
I got lots of things to worry
I know.
about. I'll tell you what.
So do I. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, we'll
Does
take
he
a
have a
second
note?
to. No.
No. Oh, great.
Just take a second to find that, and I'll mention that, yes, if you're new to the show, these streakers have been producing the show in many episodes in a row. In Sir Scott's case, 111 episodes. We like to celebrate different, checkpoints along the streak journey with a very fun jingle. So if you're out there and you're thinking you want to play the producer game here, go ahead and give it a try. We should put these different levels on the canarycryradio.com/support. I'm going to put that on the list. It would be fun to have those out there so people can see them ahead of time.
Here we go.
1 1 1
Triple ones.
1 1 1 1 1
Triple ones. Triple ones. Thank you,
ones.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
Thank you, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth. Next up, we have Jack V.
Jack V, what's up, buddy? Comes in with 7.7 ADA.
Is
Cardano.
this a crypto?
Cardano?
Crypto?
Ouroboros?
Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
There's a note here. This is Jack V typing live from warm, sunny California. Always warm, always sunny. Sometimes California.
Do you know what that reference is?
I do not.
Every single time Charles Hoskinson, who is the head guy for Cardano, every time he does a video, he says that. He goes, "Well, coming at you live from warm, sunny Denver, Colorado. Always sunny, or always warm, always sometimes sunny." Whatever he says there.
Yeah. Well, Jack V, our Gen Z crypto Chad, truly lives up to his name because that is such a deep cut. Thank you, Jack V, for that lesson. Just sent you two bros some of the best crypto around. That ADA, 7.7 of it. Ooh, woo. But I wanted to say I had a dream about Basil the other night. Ooh. In my dream, Basil took off his VR goggles. Oh. And he turned out to be Vitalik Buterin.
Oh, no.
Vitalik Buterin, for those who need some review, is the, what would you call him? Inventor?
He's the founder, creator of Ethereum.
Ethereum, yeah, big crypto guy.
He's a Russian guy. He looks like an alien, to be honest.
Yes. Well, who knows? I might look like an alien.
That's true.
Then he let me wear his goggles. Ooh, wow. The mantle has been passed. Was kind of weird, but thought you'd enjoy that, Mr. Homeless Man. Love you guys. Can I get as many random jingles as possible before the homeless man gets cranky? Thank you, NFT Boomer. We'll see. I'm going to get cranky pretty quick. Spread misinformation on their podcast.
You're a breaker, one niner.
I don't know what that was.
That was Allie's. Happy
sorry,
birthday
my jingle board. I'm just getting loose with it, and whatever
that's
comes
fun,
up.
Though. It's fun. We have that little clip of Ebony Blaze.
Ebony Blaze.
All right. That concludes. Let me just do a quick little checkeroonski. That concludes the. No, it doesn't. Okay, we got a few little guys coming in. Here we go. A couple more people coming in. Oh my goodness. Okay. Robert T has come in. If you'd write these down, please.
Thank you, Robert T.
Thank you, Robert T. Comes in with a nice round number. Appreciate that, Robert Tufts. Dang it. And everybody, I can't read it straight from this. I apologize. Just so you know, if you're new to the show, if it's a nice round number coming in as your producership, we don't read the amount. We always lean towards less information. But if you want us to read the amount, you put a little signal in there. Some people put some random amount of cents, make the numbers weird, and then we'll read the amount. There is a note here from Robert that says, God bless and keep it up. I salute you guys and thanks for the proper content and amazing info. And of course, all the laughs. Praise Jesus. Thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, very generous.
Yes. Next up, we have, a supply drop producer just came in. So we will thank them now. And their name, wait.
I think I know what you're looking at here.
I can't tell if this is, I don't know if this is a supply drop. Well, I'll just say producer Jason G just came in with $33.33 plus fees. Thank you, Jason. And a note here, been watching for a while. This is my first time donating. Time for demooching.
Demooched. Glad to do it.
I was led to give you part of my tithing this month. You guys have an awesome ministry. Thanks for keeping it wholesome. That's a rare thing these days. The truth shall set us free. Amen, Jason.
Amen.
Thank you so much. And yes, some people do, include us in their tithing, and we're very honored by that and take that very seriously. So thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much.
All right. One last one here. Oh, my goodness. Okay. This one comes in from producer Cherie. Yes, Cherie.
Thank you, Cherie.
Trying to remember if Cherie had a dame name or something. Cherie comes in with $13.33. Says, hey, friends, I know this is cutting it close. Yes, it is, Cherie. But
made it.
Caught it at the last second. But I'm hoping it'll make it in. Okay. I haven't been able to produce for a few months because my husband and I are buying our first house. Oh my gosh, congratulations. And every cent had to go to that. More on all that later. Today, I need to focus to be on calling the producers to assemble.
Producers, assemble!
Okay, producers, here you go. Listen up. My precious adopted sister, Lynn, has been struggling so much the past few months, almost completely due to COVID. Every time I've spoken to her, she's been in tears. Her insurance company has been slow to cover her income from missed days, and everything else has snowballed from there. There are other things going on, too, so if y'all could be so kind as to lift her up in your loving and wonderful 2-hour loving and wonderful Father, it would be so appreciated. Thank you, dearest friends. Cherie, Illuminati handler message complete. Thank you very much, Cherie. And
Thank
yes,
you, Cherie.
producers out there, we're keeping Lynn in our prayers because of just a bunch of snowballing nonsense from health issues and insurance companies. That's always something that needs prayer for sure.
Yeah.
So we're praying for you, Lynn. And thank you very much for your producership, Cherie.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that concludes our producers who've come in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We've got a few more to thank here who came in under that, starting with producer Puddin22.
Thank you, Puddin22.
On a 4-episode streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
Threes and
That's the
fees.
cat, right? I don't know.
Yes,
Maybe
this is the cat who has stolen.
Okay, yes. All right, got it.
The credit card. Next up, we've got Child of God on a 56-episode streak.
Thank you, Child of God.
Threes and fees. Next up, we got Jackie U on a 28-episode streak. Threes and fees.
Thank you, Jackie U.
She's on a streak.
Women rule!
We got Veronica D on an 87-episode streak.
Thank you, Veronica D. 80. Oh, that's right. Her. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yes. Here we go. Getting ready for that 88. Veronica D and Gail M are about to become time travelers.
Oh, yes. Next up, we got the Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, on a 121-episode streak.
Yeah! Quicker! Oh, yeah! Thank you so much.
Yeah, is for sure. Comes in with a pocket full of threes. Thank you, Sir Casey.
Thank you, Sir Casey.
Last but not least, we've got the good Doctor Who done dat on a 58 episode straight threes and fees.
Doctor Who done that.
Okay, and thank you for everybody's patronage. Let's check in on some. We've got one voicemail to check in on.
Do you want to do? Oh yeah, okay. So here we go.
Shut up and take my money. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message.
Beep. Message. Oh, I dodged it that time.
You kind of did dodge it, yeah.
I dodged it. Okay. Yes. So if you go to canarycrynewstalk.com, on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see a green tab. That green tab, if you click on it, will allow you to leave us a voice message on the site, which we love to put on the show. Isn't that so much fun, everybody? Go do it. canarycrynewstalk.com just that, canarycrynewstalk.com. Green tab on the right-hand side. You can just say hi to us. You can shout out to listeners. You can thank producers or leave us your very own report that we would love to play on the show. Another thing that's been happening is celebrities will call in.
Oh.
And yeah.
I didn't know we were this popular.
Oh, you knew this. We had, there's a current civil war going on, Canary Cry Civil War, regarding the Wednesday jingle. And started with Arnold Schwarzenegger called in, had something to say. Then The Godfather called in, had something to say. And now we've got a very special message coming in to weigh in from Ben Shapiro, the Waffle Man himself.
Look, everybody, I hate to get involved in needless tripe, but here's the thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger came out in support of the Wednesday jingle. And then the mob boss, ruthless criminal that peddles drugs and traffics alcohol on our streets, the Godfather of all people, decided to come out in support of the new Wednesday jingle. Here's the thing, everybody. Are you going to acquiesce to a crime syndicate boss? No, I don't. It's not a good idea. This is the outright obvious tactics of the left, and nobody's agreeing or can surmise why with the people that want to support the new Wednesday jingle. I mean, look, everybody, if you don't like the old Wednesday jingle, there's something intrinsically wrong with you. Something deeply disturbing. The old Wednesday jingle is a lot like waffles. You see, because everybody loves waffles.
Nice.
There's something deeply disturbed with everybody that wants to support the new Wednesday jingle, and I, for one, will not stand for it. Okay, and so that's the message. Anyways, let's hear from word from our sponsor. You have hair. Everybody has hair, except for Donald Trump. Apparently, one thing you can do to preserve your hair.
That's where it ends.
That's where it ends. That's funny.
Everybody loves waffles.
Once he started doing an ad, we had to cut him off. Thank you very much, Ben Shapiro, for calling into the show, weighing in on the Wednesday jingle debacle. I think.
I think Ben Shapiro's been drinking. He was a little slow.
A little bit.
He got a little
caught up, but still good. Maybe he was, he just woke up or something, and he just woke up, and the first thing he had to do was weigh in on Canary Cry News Talk.
Everybody loves waffles.
Love it. Can't wait to hear from what other celebrities or internet personalities have to think about the Wednesday jingle or just anything else going on the show. Truly a valuable service this voice message thing has become to the show. We really appreciate everybody participating, and you can too. Go to canarycrynewstalk.com, little green button on the right hand side, click it and leave us a message, baby. We love to add it on the show. And I think that is it, Gons. I think we should wake on up here.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. COVID-19.
Oh.
It's okay. It's okay. Hold on.
COVID-19. Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19.
Vaccine, number one way. We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. Right into the vein.
We're about to talk about Bill Gates. So,
and
YouTube.
COVID and vaccines and all sorts of stuff. And that means we're going to be too hot for YouTube.
Sorry, YouTube. But come find us on other platforms, mainly Odyssey. That's a good one to do, or Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you there. So
you can find all of our alternate platforms over at canarycry.party. Again, Twitch, YouTube. No, not YouTube. Twitch, Rumble, DLive, Odyssey. Even just Twitter or Facebook. We are streaming there. The chat doesn't work, though. Yeah. If you want your chat to be in the broadcast, which a lot of people do, you got to do the Twitch for
Twitch
now.
Or DLive.
Or DLive, yes. Twitch or DLive gets the chat into the show. So, okay.
All right.
All right, YouTube.
Bye, Susan.
Bye, YouTube.